You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Are you ready to learn the 3 secrets to launching a successful podcast? Hi, I'm Bill, a recent client of the Podcast Mogul. If you've been thinking about starting a podcast but aren't sure where to begin, he's got you covered. He is hosting a free webinar where he will share the 3 secrets that can help you launch, grow, and monetize your podcast without any fancy equipment or technical headaches. Click the link in the show notes to save your spot now and let him help get your podcast off the ground.
Welcome to Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. Join the podcast mogul Phil Better as he interviews successful entrepreneurs that make their living in the digital world. Now, let's join your host, Phil Better, and his special guest today on Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. I am, of course, your host with the most, Phil Better. And today I'm very happy to have Em Ducharme on the podcast to talk about her consulting business. Em, how are you doing today?
I'm doing so good. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm very glad that we could finally jump on the call. Last 2 times there was some technical difficulties, so I'm glad we're on today and we can learn all about you and Em Ducharme Consulting.
Amazing. I'm so happy to be here, and hopefully everything goes well for today.
I'm pretty sure it will. We got about 45 minutes before apparently a storm hit, so we'll go get through this like we can. Em, could you just quickly introduce yourself to my audience so they know a bit about yourself?
Of course. My name is Emily Em Ducharme. The M is my nickname. Everyone calls me Em. I'm French Canadian. I grew up in a village, a French village in Quebec. And I started my first business when I was 19 years old. I had my first restaurant. So I've been an entrepreneur for quite a while. I actually probably doesn't look my age because I sleep, beauty sleep. That's my number one rule. But I'm 34 years old now since a few days ago. It's the first time I say my age out loud. Oh my God. Okay, so I'm 34 years old. I have a couple businesses now. So actually my consulting business has been turned into a online course and coaching business. So I don't do consulting anymore. It's still called Em Ducharme Consulting. But so that's one of my business. And now I'm working on a startup in drop shipping as well as a done-for-you agency as well.
Oh, I like that. I love spreading it out, trying to find all those things, get those multiple streams of income, which is key to an entrepreneurial lifestyle. Em, I want to go back to the beginning, back to the 19 years old when you started your first restaurant. Why did you start your first restaurant? What was the...
So I'm a high school dropout. I'm a very incredibly smart high school dropout. I actually made a promise to myself when I dropped out of school is that I would never stop learning. But the system, I knew the system wasn't good for me. I have a problem with authority. I don't like people telling me what to do. So I would get
common trait in entrepreneurs, I find.
Yeah, I know. So I got kicked out of school a few times, not because I was doing anything wrong, just because I don't like to follow rules. And then they wanted to teach me a lesson. And then at some point I was like, you know what, I'm just never going to go back to school. But I decided to continue learning. And like, I learned, still today, I learn every day. This is my number one priority in life. But when I was 18 years old, I started working in bars industry. I was offered a position into a really trendy restaurant into Montreal, and then they promoted me as the manager of their lounge. And then when I was working there was this movie producer from Los Angeles that came to open a restaurant in Montreal, And he had no idea how to open a restaurant or run a restaurant. He didn't know anything about restaurants, and he wanted me to partner with him. And I said yes. But then 2 weeks after opening the restaurant, my mom called me and she told me she had 6 months left to live because she was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And I decided to change my life completely. So I went from party girl who has too much power, too young. I don't know what I would be today, but I would probably not look like this.
There'd be a bit more wear and tear possibly on the body.
Probably. I was going to bed a bit later than I do now. So I changed my life, and it made me be interested into health and fitness because my mom was sick and I didn't want to be sick. I started learning how to cook. I started learning about pathology. I started learning about online marketing, all these things. And then I started wanting to make money online so I can take care of my mother. And that's how it started. So it's been 11 years that I work online. I've kind of been around for a bit. Instagram was like a platform where people were posting ugly pictures of their meals back then.
Yeah, I remember the beginning of Instagram. It was nothing but food. What is someone eating? And it's always scary to think about. Like, I talk with some entrepreneurs who are just starting. They're like in their 19, 20, and they call it like a Facebook app. It's like I grew up with the Facebook web base. Like that's how old, and now they're calling it an app, and I'm like, oh God. So yeah, just remembering when Instagram was.
Do you remember when we couldn't write comments on status, so we had to post on other people's wall? Yeah. Hey, what are you doing tonight? Do you want to come out? There's no messages.
You're just having a conversation, posting back and forth. And I get that some in my memories. I'm like, what are they talking about? Why can't I see what I said to this? I want to know the full conversation.
Yes.
So weird being in the next seeing the evolution of some of the web. Which it's interesting because you started a web-based business because you wanted to be there for your mom, to be able to help your mom take care of her. So it wasn't because you wanted more money or anything like that. It was more out of an altruistic place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's never been about the money because I didn't even know what money was. Like I grew up on a farm. I grew up in a village. I never had seen fancy cars and fancy things. Like I didn't know what it was. So I was never something that motivated me until I started hanging out with wealthy people. And then I was like, just like a part of their lifestyles. And I was like, oh my God, like this is weird. And then I got used to it. And then I got used to it. You know,
that's generally how it is. And it goes back to an important thing. You are the result of the 5 people that you hang around with, or the 5 to 10 people that you hang around with. And the fact that you were with these wealthy people living their lifestyle, you understood and you were able to connect with them and make those connections to help you further along in your business.
Mm-hmm.
So now that you're transitioning from a consulting part, what were you doing in the consulting world? Like, how were you consulting?
So it's been a while that I've transitioned. I stopped taking clients in 2020. Once COVID started, that's when I stopped taking clients. And then I was like, I'm going all in into turning my knowledge into online courses. And I have about 12 online courses now. So I pushed everything that I had while people were complaining on the internet about COVID. I was like, I'm going to make money. I'm going to make money. And now I'm like, oh, okay, I don't need to work anymore.
You get to get that extra hours of sleep now and be rested.
Yeah. So I was a consultant because I worked in the finance industry, but my entire life has been accidents. Everything that I've ever became, every title that I've ever had were accidents. Like all of a sudden I'm an investment broker. All of a sudden I'm a VP of business development for an investment firm. I don't know what I'm doing, but I literally everything happened by accident because I love to learn and I go get what I want all the time. So it's just my life is a series of accidents that made me very rich and happy.
Hey, That's the dream, right? Get to the happiness, the money will flow from it.
Yeah.
So when you were doing consulting services, what were some of the common issues that you were solving for people?
So mostly back then, it would be how to turn their knowledge into like digital assets, like online courses and stuff like that. A lot of experts, a lot of leaders that don't have time to, like I was working with like very high profile speakers that didn't have time to turn their knowledge into online courses and have like other streams of income. So I was kind of jumping in. I work with product-based companies. I was I'm very creative with marketing. So I have ideas that I'm like, oh, this would be so fun. I'm like, how did you think of it? I don't know. So
just popped in the head.
It's an accident. But that's one of my gifts that I realized that my creativity, I have ideas that are really profitable because they're unique. So a lot of people would come into my world like, my marketing is bland, like I need some spice, and then I would help them like put it back together. Or like I feel like I'm stretched too thin and I want to see where I could make money, so I would audit their business and be like, if you change this, you turn this into a membership, you kill this, you include this, you're making $500,000 or more a year, and you have more time. And they're like, oh my god. So this is something that I think I was born with, because that's how my brain thinks. I can't do maths. Like I cannot 1 + 1 = 5. Like this, I can't, like there's a lot of things that I cannot do well, but the things that I can do well, I really own up to it. I know I'm the best at it. So I just focus on my zone of genius, and it made me grow really fast.
I love that. I love how you focused in on what was unique to you, and you just 10x it. You went as deep as you could into it.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, since you've already transitioned, you went from being a consultant to creating this pretty much passive income where all you have to do is put money into marketing, going on to podcasts and that. Do you have any tips for people who are looking to transition from maybe being a one-on-one coach going into the digital assets, or transitioning their business to a digital aspect? Do you have any tips for them?
Yeah.
Or a tip?
So like what I would say quickly is, you have to always focus on growing your audience, converting your audience, and then adding things into your digital assets. So what I did for me is I would run like free master classes every quarter to grow my name, to have people like have a first date with me. And I would make it so valuable that I could sell it after, so that the people come, first of all, they're impressed. If it's that good when it's free, imagine when it's paid. So, and then if it's so good after, I can sell it after. So it doesn't matter how many people come, because I know I'm going to sell it after. It's going to make me money later. It's never about just right now. It's always like, if it's going to help me in the future, I'm doing it. If it's only going to help me right now, that means it's not scalable. So I don't do it. So that's kind of how I thought. And then I would do like lower ticket events that I could use to upsell people into higher ticket courses and packages and stuff like that. And I just focused that every single quarter I would do something free, something low ticket, something high ticket. And this way I started growing what I have. So now I have like pretty much, well, like I was saying, like I have like 12 courses, and I don't need to, like what I will do when I release a course is I'm going to add like a couple live calls, or I'm going to update a module, or I'm going to add something that I think that I realized would be good to add a year later. But I don't have to recreate everything. And it was a time sacrifice. I had to sacrifice the money from the high ticket one-on-one coaching, which we get so attached to because it feels so good, but then we don't have time to grow our business. And then I decided, do I want to grow other people's business or my business? And I had to decide to grow my business. So now technically I could do that for other clients because I have done it with mine. And my proof of my work is even bigger because I can show it. Like, look at what I've done with my business. Now I can help you with mine. So then when you do that, when you take the time to grow your business, not just other people's businesses, then you are also a proof of your work. So you can charge more. and people will trust you faster. Your credibility is through the roof when you do that. So it's always thinking like, is it going to help me later? Because instant gratification is not scalable.
Yeah, that's delaying gratification is a skill and a trait of some of the most successful people, because they're able to see that, hey, if I do the stuff now, I know in 5 years it's going to pay off, or 5 months, or whatever time frame, instead of trying to get that instant quick cash. And I think that's something that isn't taught to people, because we get so, thankfully, to the cell phone, and the smartphones, we get that instant gratification. We get that dopamine hit anytime we pick it up. So it's a great tip that you just provided.
You're most welcome.
Definitely going to be cutting up that and putting that out as promotion for the episode. But over your 11 years, you must have helped hundreds and thousands of people and businesses with your content and that. Is there maybe a moment, maybe you got a testimonial or you got a feedback from someone that just like solidified why you started doing and helping businesses grow?
There's been many testimonials. Like, I wake up every day with messages. It was my birthday, and I just went through like kind of a weird phase into my personal life of like, I got everything I want. What's next? I'm not really motivated to have anything else. And like, I was like this kind of like, I had to decide to rebirth. That's why I have new business projects now, because you have to keep it alive. And if everything is so easy, you die inside. And that's what was happening to me. I was dying inside. So on my birthday this year, it was 5 days ago, I received a lot of messages from my audience with telling me what I changed for them. People that I don't know, that I've never met, that bought my course and I might not even know it. And I received so many, and I was like, I needed this to remind myself that my work actually matters, even if for me, I don't see it all the time. It's always in circulation, and it always helps people. And someone can take a course from me, and in 5 years, they still are grateful that they took it because it changed something for them. And what for me feels the best is not even like the money and it's the leadership. Like, people that have learned how to be emotionally intelligent, how to treat their employees with respect, how to turn people into world leaders. I had a client who told me this week she got rid of her addiction because of my work with her. And that was not what we were working on, but just being in my energy inspired her to quit the drugs that she was doing, which I had no idea she was doing. And I was like, it's not even just what I do, it's everything else that gets impacted around what I do that makes such a big difference. So now our relationship is better. Her relationship with her kids are better, with her family is better. Like, everything gets impacted when someone helps you change a big piece of your life. And what I sell is stuff related to business, but what it changed most of the time is way beyond business. So that's, for me, like, that's the most gratifying thing in terms of testimonials.
I love that. I love how when you were down and you were questioning everything, you got their validation that you were doing great work and to continue growing as a person. I love that. I love seeing that, and when your audience gives you what you were looking for to make sure that you
I didn't even know. I didn't know I was looking for that. It was just like a wake-up call for me, you know?
Yeah,
that
the universe was providing
timing.
it. Yeah, the universe is providing what you needed at the time.
Yeah.
In your, I don't know about you, but I love reading, and books are so important. I think I can see a couple books over your shoulder there.
Oh my God.
No, you got a lot of books.
Yeah. That's the only one.
Yeah, it's one large book. I'm wondering, is there maybe a book that you could suggest to my audience and to me to help us grow our business or grow us individually?
Okay, so I hope I'm not messing up the title. It's by David Kidder. New to Big. It's a book that's perfect for consultants or people. It's basically how to grow a business with a startup mindset and venture capitalist like fire. And I actually connected with David Kidder because of that. And then he sent me his other book called The Startup Playbook, which was also amazing. He interviewed a lot of people that started really big companies. And he asked what did you learn? All these things. It was really, really inspiring. And for if you have women in your audience, there's a book called, there's a book called Feminine Genius. And this is really feminine energy work. It's really introspection. And it's all basically to connect to your intuition and to your feminine energetics. And that book, for me, has made me connect and change the way I thought about life, about my relationship, about my business. And I feel like now, like I really flow in life instead of trying to work like a man, because that's also something. Like, I'm a woman. I don't have the same type of energy than a man. And when you try to build a business like a man, it doesn't feel completely aligned. It makes you feel burnout, and we're different. So I think it's important also to teach women that it's normal to feel like you don't fit in the puzzle, because you're not supposed to fit in that puzzle. But there's a way to do it that's going to work for you and your energy as best and even better than if you're trying to do it the masculine way.
Oh, I love that. I'm definitely going to pick up the Feminine Energy book for the lady entrepreneurs in my life.
It's amazing.
It's going to be beneficial. We're coming to the end, Em, and before I allow you to have the floor and let everybody know how they can connect with you and how they can be helped by you, like the hundreds and thousands of people that have helped you, I have a question from the game Spark by Seek Discomfort, the Yes Theory channel, and I always love asking these questions because they do spark a great conversation and a connection. But if you were 99 years old and given a chance to come back to today, what would you do right now?
That's a good question. I would definitely drink my water.
Keep staying young by drinking that water.
You know what? For me, right now, the theme of, because I feel like that's a question that I've asked myself differently this week. I call this my rebirth. I really realign my intentions. And the word that came up to me was simplicity. And I started cooking again. I'm a fabulous chef, but I was not taking the time to cook anymore. And it's so easy with Uber Eats, and not sponsored by Uber Eats. So it was so easy to not cook. And then but I love doing it. Why did I stop? It tastes so much better when I do it, and I know what's getting in my body, and it's always a better choice. So I just went back my entire life to simplicity. And I think my 99-year-old version would really agree with this, because I go on more walks on the weekend. I go in nature instead of somewhere busy. I drink more water. I drink more herbal tea. I go back to what's simple, like taking bubble baths, and it feels so nurturing. It feels so nourishing for me to do that. So I think that's super aligned with what my future self would want me to do.
Oh, I love it. That's a great answer. Thank you. Going back to, it is, because it's everything, even business and that, going back to the simplest thing can just rejuvenate you more than you know. So I like that. I think that's a great answer, and I can't wait to share this with my audience, because I think people need to remember to go back to being simple. I'm going to jump off the screen. I want you to let my audience know where they can get in touch with you, how they can connect and become part of your amazing energy.
Perfect. Okay, so the best way to reach out is on Instagram. That's where I post most of my magic, I would say. And you can go on my website as well, emducharme.com. I have a free cash injection course on my website that applies to both men and women. That's really, really juicy. And Instagram, it's em.ducharme.
Excellent, Em. Thank you so much for being on the show. I can't thank you enough for sharing your journey with us and some of those amazing tidbits and knowledge that you passed on to my audience. Can't thank you enough.
Thank you so much for having me.
To my audience, of course, if you want to connect with Em, All the links will be in the show notes down below. Please connect with her and see how she can help you. That free course, I'm definitely going to jump over and take a look at it and see how I can use it in my business. Because hey, who doesn't need some injection of cash, right? Mm-hmm. And again, to the audience, thank you to Em for sharing your story, to my audience for listening, and remember to always invest in yourself.
Thanks for tuning in. Now it's time to take the next step. When you're ready to dive deeper into how to launch, grow, and monetize your podcast, Phil's got something special for you. Join him for a free webinar where he'll reveal the 3 secrets that have helped countless entrepreneurs succeed in podcasting. Click the link in the show notes to save your spot, and let's turn your podcasting dreams into reality.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.